Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome to the third graduating class from A.A.E.C. Prescott Valley and the first to graduate in Prescott Valley. I wanted to start tonight by thanking the families of the graduates. Years ago, you made a decision to send your child to A.A.E.C. And after working with this class and watching them grow over the past year, I can tell you that you made the right decision. I would like to thank the district staff at A.A.E.C. for helping make this night possible and also providing strong leadership and mentoring our entire staff. A huge thank you goes out to our wonderful teachers and executive assistant. Not only have you worked hard in preparation of this event, but you have worked hard in educating our students over the last 3 years. I would also like to thank my family, my wife Leanne and son Zachary, for your tremendous support. Love you both. And lastly, for the graduates, no matter what great things await you, no matter what obstacles you must overcome, know that you may call on any one of us in this room to assist you, for we are all your teachers, your mentors, and your family for the rest of your lives. I would now like to call up to the podium Crystal Burke to present the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as Emily and Anna Nardo play the national anthem.
Thank you. You may once again be seated. I do apologize. I did not introduce myself. I am Patrick Weller, principal of A.A.E.C. Prescott Valley. podium Dr. William Conley to present our guests. Dr. Conley is the Assistant Superintendent for A.A.E.C.
Thank you, Patrick. This is really exciting. I can remember 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, when Mrs. Downing and Mrs. Drakes and I were in the audience here when the City Council here voted to allow us to put our school here in this community. And to see the first year with 2 graduates, the next year with 4, and then this year to see these 20 wonderful kids is just really exciting for us. It's my pleasure to introduce the guests on the stage. First of all, I would like to, I'll start on this end. It's Mr. Dennis Gray is our Director of Curriculum. Linda Proctor Downing is the owner and founder of A.A.E.C. Dr. Ken Roberts is the board member and I believe the secretary of the board and a former community college professor and vice president. Suzanne Drakes is the Assistant Executive Director of A.A.E.C. I also want to introduce Dr. Susan Johnstead, the Executive Officer of NAU Yamaha. This shows the loyalty in our schools and the exemplary support of our other staff members. We have a principal who drove all the way from Phoenix in support of, he's the principal at our Red Mountain campus and has been very instrumental in, because this is his second year as a principal as well, Mr. Brian Snoddy from Red Mountain.
I would now like to call Mrs. Downing up for the State of the Schools address.
This is all kind of for you. All right. Parents, students, family, faculty, governing board, and staff. Welcome to Arizona Agribusiness and Equine Center Incorporated. 17th year of operation. A.A.E.C. YPV Paradise Valley or Prescott Valley is the 3rd year. I am addressing the staff first. Let me see if I've got this right. This is a learning experience. We want you to go in the room with all these students, correct their disruptive behavior, observe them for signs of abuse, monitor their dress habits, censor their t-shirt methods, and instill in them a love for learning. We want you to check their backpacks for weapons, wage war on drugs and sexually transmitted diseases, and raise their sense of self-esteem and personal pride. We want you to teach them patriotism and good citizenship, sportsmanship, and fair play, and how to register to vote, balance a checkbook, and apply for a job. We want you to check their heads for lice, recognize signs of antisocial behavior, and make sure that they all pass the final exams. We also want you to provide them with a regular education regardless of their handicaps, and communicate regularly with their parents in English, Spanish, or any other language by letter, telephone, newsletter, or a report card. We want you to make sure every student here is college ready. Staff, look around you. You have done an amazing job. There were 217 graduates last night in the AAEC Phoenix area and 22 graduates here tonight from the Prescott Valley area. These students at AAEC YPD, and boy, I have a hard time saying that over and over again, had an average GPA across their senior class of a 3.0. This class also averaged 20 transferable credits per student to any college in the U.S., which is not even taken into account that they have received $2.3 million in this year's AAEC graduating class in scholarships, 50,000 of which was awarded to AAEC YPB. As you notice as they're walking in their gowns, you'll notice that they have cords around their neck. Cords, scholastic, again, for honors. Almost every student here has a cord for honors, or working with the blood bank, or working with FFA, or college honors. Whenever they come forward, I want you to note all of their accomplishments as they do that. I want to thank you. This is their show tonight, not ours.
I would now like to introduce the first of our two student speakers tonight. We picked the top 5% of the students, so basically the top 5 seniors, and then we went ahead and we had each of those seniors submit a speech. That speech was judged, and the 2 speeches given to you tonight are going to be the 2 best. The first of which is presented by Emily Nardo.
Good evening. I would like to start by saying that any stuttering or mispronunciation is completely intentional and is most definitely not the result of nerves. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak tonight and represent the senior class. I've had the privilege of working with some just incredible students and peers through my years here at AAEC, and we've all had some pretty interesting times, some of which I hope to share with you tonight. The high school experience is often portrayed as a journey. In many ways, I suppose this is a rather apt description. We navigate our ways through the turbulent and often dicey waters of algebra and socially awkward situations. We valiantly fight the ever-persistent battles of GPAs and make the long trek from ignorant freshmen to slightly less ignorant seniors. And today, having successfully made a dent in our idiocy, having emerged at the end of our journey, we can finally embrace the warm and inviting home of what I have decided to dub high school graduacy. Obviously, each and every one of us up here has a plethora of people to thank. To every parent in the room, and especially to my own wonderful parents, thank you for your persistent, if at times belligerent, love. Though at the time, having the covers violently ripped from my bed at 5 in the morning did seem needlessly cruel, I now know that this was in a loving attempt to assist me in completing a stem cell research project that I now remember nothing about. Sorry. To our marvelous teachers and staff, I know that I speak for all of us when I say thank you. Thank you for your patience, which was never in short supply. Thank you for the countless hours that you dedicated to the irrefutably difficult challenge of convincing the world that all of us really are mildly intelligent, independent individuals. We know it wasn't easy. But I will advocate for myself and the other members of the senior class in saying that you were reasonably successful in your endeavor. Congratulations. You can now breathe a sweet sigh of relief knowing that you have unleashed us on the unsuspecting world of collegiate academia. Though each of us has had unlimited help and support, it is by our own merit that we stand here today. The hours of homework, the brain cells we sacrificed to understanding past participles and the quadratic formula. The tears that I am sure each of us shed as a result of being hormonally imbalanced teens forced to spend hours each day in a room with other hormonally imbalanced teens. Through the trials the everyday and the chaos of sometimes incomprehensible proportions, each of us has emerged victorious. Tonight we receive recognition for our efforts. Tonight we can finally say that it was all worth it. Because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2014 will receive our diplomas. When you think about it, a diploma is sort of a funny thing. Essentially, it's just a piece of paper that we will someday proudly hang on the wall of our office. But metaphorically, and perhaps more importantly, the diploma is an emblem of success, marking a rite of passage, if you will, into the worlds of professional and academic achievement. For many of us tonight, the diploma is a stepping stone in our careers. It is one of the many milestones that we will meet with bold gusto on our way to becoming the doctors, politicians, and educators of our generation. I recently attended another graduation ceremony where a speaker pointed out that there are very few occasions on which we are able to invent our futures. At first glance, this statement seems to resound with a dull note of truth. Indeed, it often seems as though we have progressively fewer occasions on which to celebrate our success. As a young child, I know each and every one of my own birthdays was celebrated with the naive enthusiasm only attainable by one who hasn't yet completed a senior budget project, and as such, doesn't yet understand the financial horrors that growing up truly entails. Throughout high school, we are in a sense liberated by our first experiences. We all experienced the run-of-the-mill firsts of high school. Our first time in a high school classroom. Our first time driving a car. Our first time being forced to collaborate with others on dreaded group assignments. And for many of us, our first time working to earn money. We also experienced some firsts that are perhaps unique to AAEC. Through the last 3 years, most of us took our first college courses, and many of us experienced for the first time feeling confident enough with a topic to argue with a teacher, only to realize that we really were wrong in the first place and never should have opened our mouths. But as we age, these firsts, these occasions that allow us to invent our futures, only dwindle in frequency. We've all witnessed this. I mean, how many people over the age of 35 do you know who still gleefully celebrate each birthday as a new rite of passage? At 16 you can drive, 18 you can vote, 21 you can legally poison yourself in public. And the next milestone is 55 when you get discounts at Safeway. I'm glad you guys thought that was funny. But really, and this is something that applies to not only those of us graduating tonight, but everyone here. Every day is an occasion on which to celebrate. Every moment is a time to invent our futures. And this is a concept that is inherent to success. Our successes and failures are directly correlated to our ability to recognize importance and meaning, not only in moments of grandeur, but in the little moments as well. Because more often than not, it is in these little moments that we find the most power and the most success. This year's graduating class of AAEC Prescott Valley is bound to succeed, whether through our professional achievements or through our personal passions. I know I am not alone in the belief that each of us has a vast potential just waiting to be realized. Each of us is brilliant, talented, and well-equipped to enter the harsh, somewhat terrifying limelight of the real world. And so it is with great aplomb that I congratulate my fellow seniors, my comrades in the odyssey of high school. I congratulate us on 3 splendid years together. I congratulate us on our ability to get here. And I would like to share a realization with my fellow soon-to-be high school graduates that gave me immeasurable joy. That we can now chew gum whenever we want. Welcome our second student speaker, Robert Hammerschmidt.
staff members, parents, honored guests, and the class of 2014, welcome. I'm glad that everyone could attend such a grand occasion we have here today. We're here to celebrate completion of the class of 2014's complete education and the new beginnings we all have here today. Congratulations. I'm sure that most people here can agree that it's been quite the long journey. Even though it is hard to remember now, there was a time about 12 to 13 years ago when all of you parents out there had to send your little kids to kindergarten. Yep, it's been quite the long journey there. What a far way we have come since kindergarten. Throughout our years of schooling, we've been taught how to master read and write from our friendly English teachers, concisely do arithmetic from our wonderful math teachers, and comprehend history from our thoughtful social studies teachers, understand the physical world around us from our fun science teachers, and receive hands-on experience from the world around us from our optimistic elective teachers. It wasn't just an education we have gained from our schooling. We've also gained many life skills along the way. We've learned how to respect and communicate with the people and the world around us. We've learned how to use critical thinking skills to see all sides of decisive situations. We have learned how to make lasting friendships with our fellow students and teachers. Most importantly, though, was that we learned about ourselves, what our inspirations and dreams really are. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that these inspirations and dreams aren't just we sit around and do nothing with our lives. These inspirations and dreams are to help others with our resources, improve communities with our knowledge, assist our families with our time, whilst benefiting ourselves in the process. These inspirations and dreams didn't just appear in one day, though. They took time and experience to gain. I remember all throughout my elementary and middle school life, all I wanted to do was become a lawyer, just because I thought all I would have to do was argue with the guy on the opposing stand. Little did I know back then. There was a time in my life when I was very naive. I didn't know that the lawyer's job is actually mostly paperwork. It was the type of person I was, though, which I know many teachers and students who were with me in the class in the class in 2011 could definitely testify to. Pun intended. Ever since then, though, I've been maturing dramatically. I've stopped arguing with people around me that are important, and have instead decided to be respectful to them, and have been polite to them instead. I've gained an immense amount of knowledge on future careers and their requirements from the wonderful educated sources and people that are around me. Through all the experiences I've gained and time it took, I finally was able to make an introspective decision to become an actuary, which is quite a big decision when you're a high school student. I'm sure that I'm not alone in this matter either, though, for I truly believe that all of us who are graduating today have gained an immense amount of knowledge here at A.A.E.C. that will guide us here for the rest of our lives, in both our careers and our lives. As Apple CEO Steve Jobs once said, "Your time here is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your own heart and intuition." These words are especially wise for those of us that are graduating here today, because our future is now an open book. As we move on from high school today and become adults, we now have the power and the option to be whoever we want to be. Our choice of career and what we do with the rest of our lives is now our choice. Any one of us here can become the next big doctor, nurse, engineer, actuary, musician, or writer, just to name a few. It's now our new freedom, starting today, to find out what we want to be and have the courage and the willpower to get us there. But of course, it wouldn't be proper, though, to begin this new journey into the world of opportunity without first thanking the many people that have got us to this point in our lives. First, I would like to thank the parents. Our parents have sacrificed so much to get us to this point. Throughout our life, they have given us nutritious food to eat, clean water to drink, a house to protect us, knowledge to guide us, and most importantly, their tax dollars to pay for your education here at A.A.E.C. For all of this, we thank you. I'd also like to thank our teachers, their infinite wisdom and kindness that they have bestowed upon us. Without them, we'd probably be goofing off in the class instead of getting anything done. For this, we thank you. I would also like to thank our office staff, their hospitality, and their organization. It's amazing how much work they do for us in the background to make sure each one of these students here today are successful in both school and in life. For this, we thank you. Finally, I would like to thank our principal. I've had the great opportunity to work with our principal last semester, and I have not seen him once in an entire time with him that he's not been either talking with parents, conferring with office staff, or encouraging a student to do well. For this, we thank you. So when this ceremony comes to a close, don't think of it as the end of your regular schooling. Think of it as your life opening up to a new world of knowledge, challenges, accomplishments, opportunities, victories, and a whole lot of good times. Now I would like to introduce lifelong educator and leader of the Prescott Valley A.A.E.C campus, Dr. Susan Johnston.
Thank you, Robert. What an honor it is to be with you tonight. There are many of you I don't know, but I am here bringing greetings from Northern Arizona University, Yavapai, which is actually right next door. And so while you might not know us, we've been watching you. And we feel a part of what's happening here tonight and a part of what's happening with your school. I was here 4 years ago when Dr. Conley spoke with the town council and got the approval to go forward. When the building was going up, we hosted, and we had in our building, the administrators and staff of A.A.E.C, and we worked alongside them. And NAU Yavapai is also quite new. We're graduating our second class this year. So I cheer your successes as a school. It is truly a joy to see the school grow and to read the accomplishments and to see these students thriving the way they are. So exciting for me personally. I want to start off today with a quote from an author and songwriter named Carol Bryant. And this goes to you graduates. Carol Bryant wrote, "This isn't your world, it's your parents'. Your world is still out there waiting to be discovered." I thought about that and whether that was a good message or not, because the last thing I want to do tonight is drive a wedge between graduates and their parents. Graduates and anybody else here. This is a night where we celebrate together, and everybody in this room, from the staff to the parents and the grandparents and the siblings and the neighbors and the friends, everybody is so invested in what you've accomplished and what has brought you to this place.
Mrs. Downing, Dr. Roberts, members of our board, it is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2014. These ladies and gentlemen have met all of the requirements as stated by the State Board of Education and are duly entitled to receive a diploma from high school with all of the rights and privileges herein. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2014.
receive their diplomas. Before I start calling out the names, I'd like to give you a follow-up on what Mrs. Downing said. You'll see a lot of our students are wearing different colors, and many of you might be curious as to what these colors mean, so I'm going to explain them to you right now. If they have a gold cord, that means they graduated with honors. If they have a red cord, that means they have given countless hours of community service to the Red Cross. The green and gold cord represents recognition from the different departments of the school. For instance, the history department, English, math, science, whichever particular department they were recognized by. White stole means that they are an NHS graduate, and the yellow stole is that they are being recognized as a member of the FFA and the graduating class. Now I'd like to begin with the names. David Ian Bronson. Jessica Fawn Brown. Shelby Diane Clark. Joshua I. Derrickson. Tiffany L. English. Emily and Glenn. Austin R. Halliburton. Ricky Cole Hendrickson. Elizabeth May R. Husband. Allison E. Sterman. Dominique L. Schneider. Carly Rose Lucian. Ruby May Pendergast. Caitlin Reynolds. Hunter K. Ring. Brooke Williams. Chelsea Wimber. Viviana L. Beret. Crystal Ann Burt. Robert A. Hammerschmidt. Emily J. Nardo.
I'd like the graduates to sit down just a second. I just have some parting words for the graduates. in the congratulation, and I have some parting words for the parents. I just finished reading a report from the Pew Institute that talked about the future of what they call the millennials. Your sons and daughters are millennials. They talked about the fact that the latest statistics show that a student who finishes high school, only finishes high school, and goes into the world of work, in the time from age 18 to age 50, 32-year span of time, they will earn $640,000 in money. That averages about $20,000 a year as a salary. Take away taxes, that's about $14,000 a year, which is just above the poverty limit in the United States right now. But individuals who go into the world of work with at least a bachelor's degree in that same 32-year span of time will make $1.2 million for an average of $40,000 a year. And individuals who finish with a master's degree in that 32-year span of time will make $2.6 million, which is a $78,000 a year average salary for those 32 years. My challenge to these students, my challenge to these parents is that your children got an opportunity, they're not children, your young adults got an opportunity to earn college credits. They know what it's like to be a college graduate or to go through college work. Now you need to continue pushing them. They need to want to do this. They don't want to settle with just a high school diploma. So please push your students on to greater and better things. Congratulations again, graduating class of 2014, and great luck to all of you. And be safe tonight. To the graduates are, if you were planning on attending a four-year college next year or within the next year and a half, please stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, and parents and grandparents, class of 2014.